Welcome to Unit 4, Society and Politics in the Age of World Wars, 1914 to 1945, from the History Grade 10 textbook. This video is part of the new curriculum series. We will be discussing the Russian Revolution of October 1917. We begin by looking at the causes, course, and results of the October 1917 Russian Revolution. A major cause was the autocratic rule of the Tsars, which led to a discontented Russian society throughout the 19th century. Some liberal groups demanded replacing Tsarist absolutism with a democratic parliamentary government. The social revolutionaries believed peasants should rise up and seize the land of all landlords, encouraging them to rebel. The Marxists, the most radical group, followed the teachings of Karl Marx. The Russian Social Democratic Labor Party, RSDLP, was formed in 1898 by revolutionaries and was later divided. The RSDLP split into the Bolsheviks, the majority led by Lenin, whose real name was Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, and the Mensheviks. Another cause of the Russian revolutions in the 20th century was that Russia was poor and backward, one of the poorest countries in Europe in the early 1900s. The Russian Empire maintained serfdom, a form of feudalism where landless peasants served the land-owning nobility. Serfdom was eventually abolished in 1861. A population increase, combined with a difficult growing season due to Russia's northern climate and costly conflicts like the Crimean War, resulted in recurrent food shortages across the vast empire. The Russian Revolution of 1905 had an immediate cause: the defeat by Japan during the Russo-Japanese War of 1904 to 1905, which sparked a surge of domestic upheaval. The Bloody Sunday, a massacre of peaceful demonstrators in St. Petersburg, marked the beginning of the violent phase of the Russian Revolution of 1905. During Bloody Sunday, the Tsar's army killed or injured hundreds of defenseless protesters. This forced Nicholas II to issue the October Manifesto. The October Manifesto purportedly transformed Russia from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy. The October Revolution of 1917 was fueled by several factors, including the weakness of Tsar Nicholas II, the widespread discontent among peasants and workers, and the scandal involving Rasputin. Other contributing factors included the February Revolution of 1917, the opposition of the Communists, the failure of the Duma, and Russia's significant losses in World War I. Tsar Nicholas II and his subjects entered World War I with enthusiasm and patriotism, primarily motivated by the defense of Russia's fellow Orthodox Slavs, the Serbs. In August 1914, the Russian army invaded Germany's province of East Prussia and occupied a significant portion of Austrian-controlled Galicia in support of the Serbs. Russia's foreign supplies and potential markets during World War I were severely cut off due to German control of the Baltic Sea and German Ottoman control of the Black Sea. By the middle of 1915, Russia was significantly impacted by the war. Food and fuel were scarce, casualties mounted, inflation rose, and strikes increased among factory workers. Peasants demanding land ownership reforms grew restless. Heavy war losses further solidified the belief that Tsar Nicholas II was unfit to rule. The Russian army suffered numerous defeats in World War I. These military losses were a major catalyst for the outbreak of the February 1917 revolution. The February Revolution was caused by worsening living conditions in towns, marked by food shortages and inflation. This led to strikes and common riots among workers in Petrograd. Crucially, soldiers in Petrograd ultimately joined the civilian populace, changing the dynamic of the uprising. As a result of the revolution, Tsar Nicholas II was deposed, marking the end of the Romanov dynasty. The provisional government was established by powerful members of the Duma in February 1917 after the monarchy's overthrow. It was first led by George Lvov, succeeded by Alexander Kerensky. The 1917 provisional government failed to address the people's demands, including food shortages and ending the war, causing it to lose public support. In the meantime, peasants, workers, and soldiers in Petrograd formed Soviets, which are councils or coordinating bodies. Lenin, who led the Bolsheviks and had recently returned from exile, pushed for the dissolution of the ineffective provisional government, further eroding its popular support. The Bolsheviks used popular slogans to gain support: all power to the Soviets, and peace, land, and bread. The Bolsheviks won popular support due to their appealing slogans and their effective organizing skills. In September 1917, General Kornilov, the commander-in-chief of the Russian army, attempted a military takeover, but his attempt failed. Kornilov's failure further helped the Bolsheviks, strengthening their hold in Petrograd and Moscow, where the Soviets were already strong. The February Revolution in Petrograd was a spontaneous mass protest involving massive worker strikes and demonstrations. The army and police were used to stop the demonstrations. The period between February and October 1917 was characterized by a, quote, dual-power political structure, represented by the Provisional Government and the Soviets. The October 1917 revolution began with a popular insurrection led by the Bolsheviks of the Petrograd Soviets on October 25, 1917. Within 10 days, the headquarters of the Provisional Government fell into Bolshevik hands, bringing the Provisional Government to an end. The Bolsheviks seized political power and established a new regime led by Premier Lenin and War Minister Leo Trotsky. Thank you for watching this video on the Russian Revolution of 1917. This content is from the History Grade 10 student textbook.